I'd like to make a quick visit into the Women's World Cup. So this is semi-final playoff between Nurgyul Salimova from Bulgaria and Anna Muzychuk from Ukraine. This was such an entertaining playoff. I mean, I could pick any of these games to look at, frankly. Really entertaining. Both players love to attack. Very enterprising, very ambitious. So I want to look at this game, which is from the, the first 10-minute game. They traded wins in the 25-minute games. So this is the first 10-minute game. So Salimova playing white. Queen's Gambit accepted. Okay, everything normal so far. White recovers the pawn. Black hits out at the centre. Castles, a6. And here is where white has a huge choice. So black wants to play b5 and bring the bishop to b7 and so on. So you can prevent that with a4. You can take on c5. You can play b3, queen e2. I mean, loads of moves. Salimova played rook e1 very quickly. And this is quite trendy at the moment. It looks a bit odd to put the rook here. If black were to exchange, then we can see the rook is in the perfect position on the semi-open file. But of course, black doesn't have to exchange yet. So it's slightly mysterious. It's mysterious. It might, of course, support e4. And it might also give the bishop a square here. But, well, anyway, let's have a look. So knight c6. Okay, pretty normal. Knight c3 and now b5. And bishop d3, so putting the bishop on f1 not to Salimova's taste. She keeps the bishop on an active square. Bishop b7 and a4. So this is the classic strategy for white in the Queen's Gambit accepted. You break up these pawns and that gives white a bit of play on the queen side. So white doesn't want to take here. Doesn't look nice because the knight might come in. Queen could take as well. Doesn't feel good at all. b4 is the normal move. Try and keep things as closed as possible. So the knight comes to e4. Looks reasonable. And c takes d4. And white takes on f6. Reminds me a little bit of one of the Napo Ding games, actually. And, well, queen f6 wasn't played because you can see in that case the rook is in an excellent position. That could be a little uncomfortable, and bishop g5 is also threatened. Looks quite dangerous. So g takes f6, e takes d4, and again the rook has found itself in the perfect position on the semi-open file. Knight a5. So that looks at these squares and, well, most importantly, opens up the bishop's diagonal. So, Muzychuk, in playing like this, is playing very aggressively. And yes, we know from the Ding against Nepo game that this attack for black on the g file and on the long diagonal can be very dangerous. Bishop f4, good move. That means that that bishop can always block on g3, so that's a very important move. Rook c8, now this really doesn't work out, as we're going to see. Probably better to play bishop d6 here. But rook c8 is a mistake, because after queen e2, that's very uncomfortable for black. Remember, black's king is still in the middle, and suddenly, you've got to do something about that pawn. The queen is on an excellent square. And it starts to look, well, as though black is very uncomfortably placed here. Where is that king going to be safe? Not easy to see. Bishop d6. So Muzychuk is hoping that after this, you see the queen protects the pawn and, yeah, looks stable enough, and Could be threats on the long diagonal. But of course, bishop takes bishop isn't going to be played. Bishop h6, excellent move. So of course, castling is out of the question. And the king is looking a little bit vulnerable in the middle. And black has to be careful of this simple threat. Knight b3 hits the rook. Rook d1 and queen a5. So black trying to take control here, and well, can you imagine if the queen swooped across to the king's side? Looks pretty tasty with those bishops lined up. Okay, your move. How would you play here with white? White to play. What did Salimova play here? I'll have a drink, you have a think. Cheers. This is such a beautiful move. It just feels right because it just disrupts black's pieces beautifully. So this queen is not going to get to the king's side. That's crucial. Of course, if queen takes, then you can win a queen. That's a discovered check. Pawn takes is out of the question. That's against the rules. So bishop takes. But that opens up the d-file. Those bishops look really vulnerable. And a simple bishop takes pawn. So white hasn't even given up material for this position. And look, I mean, this is just a joyful position for white to play. Rook is attacked. Rook c5. Bishop b5 check, of course. Well, you might think that the natural home for the king is on e7, but after knight h4 and knight f5, that's looking grim, really grim. So king d8. Well, there are a lot of black pieces around there, so, you know, on a good day, you might hope that the king can hide somewhere over here. That's a good move. Bishop e3. Hitting a rook, that's very uncomfortable. And let's see, so, well, if the rook moves back here, then this is a really nice sacrifice. You can see this queen is just shut out of play. And then a simple move, queen d1, hits the knight, hits the pawn. Black's position is collapsing completely. But in the game, Muzychuk played rook c7. And now there's an absolutely beautiful finish. White to play and win. How do you win rapidly from this position? White to play. Rook takes bishop. Yeah, this is still very good. Of course, you could go queen d1, but that's not the point. Bishop b6. That's the killer move. Here, Muzychuk resigned because after queen takes bishop, queen e8, and rook takes is checkmate. Spectacular. Great stuff. And yeah, Salimova played in really enterprising style in all these games in the playoff. It was really entertaining. So Nurgyul Salimova goes through to meet Goryachkina in the final of the Women's World Cup. I will be looking at a game from the epic match between Arjun Erigaisi and Ramesh Babu Pragyananda. Give me a time to analyse first, because that was a really incredible struggle. Went right down to the wire. More coming your way soon. Thanks for watching.